SPRO. Okay, and SPRO is our first session with the configuration part. In the configuration, of course, we start with enterprise structure, but we have configuration notes for finance, accounting, controlling, logistics, material management, HR, everything. Every part of configuration is covered in this transaction, which is called SPRO. Okay. Or SP, and at SPRO, when we click it, it actually shows us details, what is the transaction code and what is the program that is being run, the application server, user, client. What is a client? Client is a landscape. We'll cover this later. All right. So starting with the very first step in configuration, it is the enterprise structure, because you're setting up a client's company's landscape. So we will go to definition and enterprise, because we have to define a company, and financial accounting is the backbone. So the first step is define company. Okay, since this is the first part, new entries will be made here, and we will choose a name for our company, and that will be SV44, because this is a 44th group. And what will be the company name? It will be Q group. Let's do it. RC44. RC44. It will be cube. Street. Street can be Knife, PO Box 3595, postal code 3595, Dubai, country AE, United Arab Emirates. English currency will be AED. That is dirhams. This is mother company that we are configuring. Save. Okay. Since this is the first step. Okay. RC44 Rubik Cube FIMM ABAP config. And who do we have? We have Fahad, Kashif, and Wakar. Fahad, Kashif, Wakar. Okay. That will give us a perspective and a reference, so that we don't actually miss out on the configuration. So any configuration that you will do for this company will be stored over here. And why we do this, we'll cover this in the next lecture. Right now, we have defined our mother company, which is RC44. Okay, this is done. There are so many companies over here, and these are all mother companies. Credit control area, company code. Edit company code data. Now, what is a company code? Company code is the financial entity which creates and prepares its financial statements, like balance sheet, profit loss, notes to the financial statement, cash flows. Okay, so new entries. New entry will be RC44, the same as the mother company. Rubik Cube PK, city, Lahore, country PK, currency, PKR, English will be the language. Enter. Save. Okay. RC44. RC44. Country PK, yes. Okay, we have made the company code. Now comes the next part, that is from definition, we'll go to assignment. Assignment of the same thing, in financial accounting, assign company, code to company, and we will search for our company, that is mother company RC44. RC44, this is the company code RC44. Now here we are integrating and it will give us a warning. Company currency differs from company code currency, which is totally okay because this is orange warning. We can bypass it with an enter and we save it. Save it here. Okay. Now, coming back to our configuration node, this is our configuration node. But let me show you one thing more. /NSU01. No, not SU01. /NSE10. WASNet is our user display. I want to show you what we have actually worked so far. Okay. Rubik's Cube. Click this plus, this is the folder, it will open up another folder and the customizing task will actually show you how much of the work configuration has been done under one node, that is SA2K900. And this is 100 the client. The client is development client. Now, every SAP landscape has by default 3 landscape servers: development, quality, and production. So from 100, when we will release it, we'll just keep the cursor over here, more release directly. Okay, when we release this, then we release this. Okay, and then when we release it, it actually goes to the quality server because here all the configuration is being tested and done. And then in the quality, you just test the quality of the configuration and show it to your client. So this is client 100 for dev. Quality can be 200 and production can be 300 or 800, whatever. Okay, so in 100 we are actually doing the configuration. Let's go back to configuration part again. SPRO SAP reference IMG. Now next is an enterprise structure definition. Controlling. No, before controlling, we'll have to define something else, and that is financial accounting, global settings, and we have to fiscal year and posting periods, maintain fiscal year variant. Now, what is a fiscal year variant? Let me show you that. Now, fiscal year variant is for every company code, there has to be a fiscal year. It could be July to June, or April to March, or January to December. January, December are called calendar years, okay? Because it corresponds to the calendar, okay? And that starts from January till December. That is the American way of doing it. So we will actually pick up K4 calendar periods. And over here, what are the periods? K4. Okay, since this is a calendar period, the check is actually given here. There are a number of 12 periods plus 4 special periods. What are 4 special periods? That I will explain later. Let me show you another variant, and that is V6 July to June, which is followed in Pakistan. So this is not calendar year because it is starting from July to June. So periods will be okay, periods. Now over here, this is a concept that I want to show you. Since the fiscal year starts from the 7th month of the calendar year, which is July, the period for V6, the first one is July. Year shift is 0. Year shift means we are starting in 2023, going all the way to December. December will be 12th month in calendar, but in the books, it will be 6th. So when the 7th actually comes up, it will be January of the next year, that is 2024. So the system will try to change the year. So we will restrict the system. We will restrict the system by actually mentioning -1. -1 will actually shift it from 2024 to 2023. 2023. Okay, that will keep the year from shifting to the next year. The next year will come when the July actually, so your fiscal year is delayed by 6 months. So this is how fiscal year variants are created. That is one thing. Next is posting periods. I want to assign a company code to a fiscal year variant, and that will be RC44. RC44 will have K4, that is calendar year for special periods. This is by default given by SAP. So we can have our own as well. I save it. Okay. Next is, I have assigned this. Next is the posting periods. Now the posting periods, fiscal year is done. Posting is the months. So I will create a new one, the same code, RC44, posting period variant RC44, and I will save it. Control S. I control this. Assign variants to company code, integrated with the company code. So I go to position, RC44, RC44, because I have the same variant same as the company code name, because it keeps everything synchronized. Okay, this is done. Now open and close posting periods. Now what are posting periods? Let's see that. I will say maintain all. Now over here we have the standard given by SAP 001, and it says plus ADKMSV. Okay, now what is plus? It means plus means all accounts. And for all accounts, what does it say? Valid for all account types: A for assets, D for customers, K for vendors, M for material, S for GL, and V for contract accounts. Contract accounts are used for utility companies like electricity companies, like telecom companies. Okay, so I will go to position AA42, And AA42 has these entries, and I will explain every entry over here. AA43. So I will copy as and RC44. 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 Okay. Now, all the accounts, this is empty, which means every from point to point, end to end, all accounts will be considered in assets A from the very first, which is empty, to the last end of the series Z. Every account is covered here. So goes for the customers, for the vendors, material, and GL. From period 1, 2023 to 12th period of 2023. So I can make journal entries, postings from period 1, that is January, to 12th, that is December. Now, what is 13 and 16 was the logic behind this? The logic is, let me tell you that. The logic is 13 and 16 are kept for adjustments at the end of the year, like unplanned depreciation, unpaid invoices or unposted invoices, GR, clearing, bank reconciliation, material reconciliation, tax, withholding tax entries which are missed or unposted, recurring entries, accrual entries. So these are the adjustments, and many more adjustments actually come in. So period 2 to period 2, that is actually a restricted area. That's why we have authorization group AA42. So we will say RC44. This is only reserved for 13 and 16 is only reserved for some people who are authorized to pass adjustment entries. Not every accountant can make entries in this. That's why authorization group will be given over here. So, who will give in assets? There will be a different code from the assets department. For D, customers, from the sales department, the accounts from the sales department. So goes for the vendor, the payable department. For material, inventory department. GL, the accounts department. Period 3 can be special again, and that could be for year-end activities like balance carry forward. For that too, we can actually give them 17th period, or we can restrict this to 15 and give the period 16 to 16 over here, right? 16 2023 to 16 2016 to 2023. All right. So this is for balance carry forward. We can actually, and but if I restrict 1 to 1, which means only January for the customer is open, rest of the months are closed. So I'm keeping the whole year open. I apply it. Save and save. Okay, now that the posting periods are okay, we'll go to the next step. And next step is very important. And that is, but before that, let me show you something, global parameters. What are global parameters? Global parameters, see, RC44. RC44, double click. Over here, chart of accounts is missing. Whatever we have done in configuration is shown over here. Fiscal year variant is assigned over here, and posting period variant is RC44. We have already assigned that. Whenever we are doing entries, we'll propose fiscal year. Default, we'll also define the default date and negative postings, posting period. Okay. And what else? What else do we have? We have to define chart of accounts. That's the next step, most important step. So I will save this. And save. Chart of accounts. Let's go to the chart of accounts. Okay, next step is chart of accounts, and that is found in GL accounting. In GL accounting, master data, GL accounts, preparations, because we are going to prepare GL accounts. So this is the preparation for GL accounts. Edit chart of accounts list, new entries, RC44, chart of accounts, RC44 to the cube. Maintenance language English, length of GL 5. 5. Group chart of accounts, when you have a group of companies, when you define group of companies, then of course you will maintain group chart of accounts over here for consolidation purposes. That will be reflected in the books of, in the financial statements of the mother company. Save. Okay, once this is saved, next is the a heavier part, that is assigning company code to chart of accounts. Okay, position RC44, RC44. Country chart of accounts, this can be defined as well. Save. Okay, once this is done, we go to account group, and here we define the accounts, and the accounts are AA42. I'll copy that because we are following a same pattern. AA42. Page down, AA42. Copy as RC44. And I'll copy this for every field, then I will explain every node of the chart of account one by one. Why it is self-explanatory. And this is actually provided by the client. As a consultant, your job is to challenge the chart of accounts and challenge every node of the chart of accounts. The maximum chart of accounts that you can, nodes that levels a chart of account can have is 5 or 6, not more than that. And the length of GL accounts that we have kept is 5, so that there is a controllable version of accounts that you can handle in manufacturing. Okay, RC44. Save. Okay, now zero balance accounts, these are actually used for clearing between profit centers for taxes and withholding taxes, that we'll see in the next lectures. Adjustment accounts, that is month-end, year-end accounts that will be used. Assets, liquid funds, bank and cash. Clearing accounts, these are clearing accounts for materials, for recurring accrual entries, for depreciation. Equity, of course, that is understandable. Expense, GL, HR accounts for payroll, for taxes, for EOBI, advances. Material accounts, miscellaneous can be any petty expenses or anything that can actually fall into this. Income accounts, recon accounts are for vendors, customers, assets. Contract accounts, okay. So recon accounts will be maintained over here. Secondary GL, this is for the costing purposes. Secondary GLs basically are used for capturing overheads, primary costs, and that will be used to transfer cost to the materials. Special GL, we'll discuss this later. Tax, sales taxes, input tax, output tax, that will maintain here. Page down, and we have withholding tax. So now we have mentioned numbering range over here because when you will create a GL account, these numbering ranges will actually help you to follow the numbering range without missing out. Define retained earnings account. This is the next step. RC44. RC44. PML, a PNL statement account. X is the symbol. 20,000 will be the account for retained earnings. Retained earnings accounts are, this was an orange warning. You can skip that by entering, by pressing enter. Save. Retained earnings account are used to balance off income and expenses, knock them off, and transfer the balance, the remaining amount to the balance sheet under equity, under capital. Okay. While this is done, now the next step is again enterprise structure. Enterprise structure, definition, controlling, next major part, controlling. Okay. Maintain controlling area. What is controlling area? I'll explain this in the next lecture. Okay, new entries. RC. Company code is equal to controlling area. RC44. Okay, it actually gets every part of the company code and copies that. For multiple company codes to report to controlling area, the chart of accounts and fiscal year variant should be the same. Financial statement version will be INT. We can change that. We can change that later. I will save it. Enter. Enter. Okay. Next step is OKKP. OKKP position RC44. RC44 activate. No, before activate, double click Ruby Cube RC44 and give the cost center hierarchy, which is RC44. Then activate, double click. It will ask me, the standard hierarchy is not made. Should it be created? I say yes. Okay. New entries. 2023 cost centers will be active. Project sales order cost objects. This will be active. Asset accounting activity type. This will be active. Component type. This will be active. And save. Save. Okay. Assignment of company codes. This is the next step. And that is new entries. Multiple company codes can be assigned only if the chart of accounts and fiscal year variant are the same. RC44. Save. Okay, that being said, now that's good for today.